Alright, guess what, guys? We have our first look at Star Trek Prodigy, or Prodigy, I think it's supposed to be called. Uh, the one with that apparently has Kate Mulgrew returning. The one of the oft-forgotten captains, for some reason, apart from Cisco. How come... Like, wouldn't it be cool if this was Cisco instead of Janeway? I always wanted to see him come back. He's cool. I miss Cisco, but all kinds of Picard and Seven of Nine shenanigans going around, and probably all those people from TNG are coming back for season 2 of Picard. But Kate Mulgrew is in the children's cartoon, or I think it's a cartoon. I don't know. We're going to find out. First announced almost 2 years ago, the next Star Trek animated series aimed at younger viewers was initially planned to debut on Nickelodeon cable channel, and while the show will eventually warp over to that outlet, the show is now set for birth at the Paramount Plus Space Dock. Revealed today during the Viacom CBS Investors streaming event, Star Trek Prodigy, which will feature the return of Kate Mulgrew as Catherine Janeway, is set to debut its first 10-episode season on Paramount Plus for the first run release. The show will debut in second run airings on Nickelodeon sometime afterwards. Okay. Oh my god. Is that our cast? The alien cast of Star Trek Prodigy. Cool. I've always been intrigued by this idea of having a completely alien cast. I think finally with animated productions we can bring that to a reality, because prosthetics would be difficult to have your entire main cast running around in heavy prosthetics. A lot of undue stress on your actors. I myself have often imagined all alien senior crew on different ships. I've done it on DeviantArt. The crew on the Dingwall here. All the senior staff are aliens. Aliens. To me, they're just people, and it's just that none of them are humans. And in Star Trek Prodigy, it looks like we've got a little robot guy here on the left. Looks pretty cool. This guy here, it looks like he might have a robotic arm. It's kind of interesting. Guy in the middle, or I don't know if he's a guy or whatever he is, but he looks like the main character. He looks like a hero. And then maybe a relative of his or hers to the right of them. I don't know. They look like they're kind of close together, like they might be siblings of some kind. And then we got the little snot monster. I like him. He looks cool. He's like a little slime. And this guy intrigues me. The big fella here. He looks like he's made of dilithium. Like he looks like a dilithium crystal. Wouldn't that be cool if he was a dilithium creature? That'd be interesting. And it looks like, I like his friggin' pants. He's got like this crazy ass kind of like suspenders and big trousers that are pulled up. It look like they were specifically made for his strange body type. And he's got something on his back too, if you look closely. He looks cool. I actually kind of want to learn about him. The least interesting guy is probably the short guy with the robotic arm. He just looks like the type of character I've seen a million times before, like the scruffy, plucky sidekick engineer character. I'm getting a little bit tired of that. I mean, I'm an engineer, and I don't appreciate when we get made fun of for being scruffy and ugly or stupid. So yeah, this is Star Trek Prodigy, and I'm kind of low-key looking forward to it. I've been liking the animated Star Trek shit. I don't know. I just, the live action Star Trek so far is taking stuff so seriously, and it's just so much violence, so much senseless violence, and so much drug abuse. What's with the drugs, you guys? And the mental illness. Sad. if this is aimed at kids, at least maybe there's a chance we won't have drug abuse and senseless violence, you know? And, who knows, maybe we could see some cool Federation ships. Like, I mean, look at Lower Decks. That had cannon-looking Federation Starfleet ships that looked timeline appropriate. We got to see the Titan. The Parliament class? Oh my god, the California class too. Cool ships. Maybe we're going to see some cool stuff in this too. Maybe this is going to be timeline appropriate. Maybe this is going to be canon feeling, you know? I don't know. I'm a ships guy and I just like to see the ships. So maybe if Prodigy provides, we could actually have something interesting to watch. Okay. I wonder if Kate Mulgrew will be in contact with this crew, like, over subspace or something. Like, I guess the plot outline was that these kids find this derelict Starfleet ship, which, oh my god, dude, if it's derelict, jeez, imagine if it's kind of imagine if it's a friggin', like, oh my god, imagine if it's a Miranda class. Oh my god, bro. This could be cool. Prodigy reflects exactly what we're looking at to do at Paramount Plus. In the early going for the new platform, franchises are incredibly valuable, driving people across the paywall, and we know this. The addition of Prodigy is huge in that it's taking this franchise and expanding possibility of this hungry new demographic for Star Trek. It does speak to the highest execution of the kind of things we're looking to do at Paramount Plus. Part of what we've seen is our Star Trek fans on CBS All Access. It's interesting what they'll go to. I don't know. They'll go to The Legend of Korra and pop around and find things that fit that particular, and I say this lovingly, nerd demo. Our hope and thought in concert with Nickelodeon President Brian Robbins is that by bringing these Trek fans and their children into Prodigy on the platform is a great way of hitting those hardcore Trek fans. Cool. On the other hand, on the linear side, it's hitting kids that may not be interested in Star Trek, but do watch Nickelodeon. Okay, you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but Star Trek used to be a children's property, kind of. Like, kids used to watch it. Like, you used to see Star Trek toys in stores. Like, it was for all audiences. It was for everybody. Everybody could get together and watch it. And while I'd like it to be that way again, seeing things that are specifically aimed at kids is a little bit better than having nothing for kids in Star Trek anymore, is it not? Like, I mean, you cannot tell me that kids are going to be watching Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. They just can't. They're just not. It's not appropriate in the worst way possible. So, barring that, I guess we can have Star Trek for kids. I'll be watching it. I might even like it. I have Star Trek toys that were children's toys. I'll just show you. This is a Galaxy class toy that I got when I was a kid, when Star Trek Next Generation was still a big deal, and I tore the nacelles off it because when I was that little, I didn't know what the nacelles were for because I had not actually seen the Next Generation when I got this toy, and yeah, and this was made for kids, too. I mean, you just don't see this anymore because, you know, kids don't give a shit about Star Trek anymore, and that's really sad. But look, you could open it up, and you could see, like, the bridge and everything, too, right? And I used to have little figurines of all the characters that you could put in there. And look, we got, like, a little ready room here, and some other room. Like, I don't know how. It doesn't seem to perfectly line up with the canon design in the Galaxy class, but I mean, who cares? It's still awesome, isn't it? And just more impressive is just the fact that it was made for kids, and kids wanted to buy it, as did I. And did anybody else have this toy? I have the quote unquote adult toys, like the models and all that. This is a Constitution class. State of the art, by the way, Constitution class for me. Like, this is crazy. This is the flagship right now. But yeah, does anybody else have that Galaxy class Star Trek toy? Let me know. And that's not all for today. I wanted to kind of poke around in my comments and look at what recent comments we've got, since it's been a while since I did that. Let's have a little look-see. Okay, my video, the greatest episode of TNG, Wilford Gray says it's like the voice of God. Thanks. If you're referring to me, I don't know if you're referring to me or the episode, but thanks anyway. I gave you a heart and everything. And Power Cage is saying, "Whoa, I like the new format, man. Also, good choice. Thanks." This format is not replacing the current format style of video that you're watching now, like the more informal kind. It's not replacing that at all. I may even yet do a video in this style that I'm doing right now for yesterday's Enterprise. I don't know if I decide to, but if you take any really good episode or any really bad episode from any Star Trek series or season for that matter, and you type it into YouTube, you're gonna find a million fantastic videos about those, because their episodes are so old now. There's nothing more you can add to it. There's nothing more I can say that can add to the discourse on any of those episodes that are popular or unpopular, famous or infamous. So I just decided to go about it and watch the episode intently and write down a random stream of consciousness information that I was having and feeling, and the emotions I had when I was watching it, and write it down with minimal editing, and then put it against clips, and then make it have a little bit of an echo to it, like it had a little bit of an ASMR effect, just to get you in on the headspace I was in when I was watching it. And make a short, easily digestible video that can be shared fast. That was the whole idea behind that. So it's light on specific details, high on the emotional overarching feeling of the episode, and high on personal opinion, because you cannot get personal opinion from anyone anywhere else. Technically, you can get facts and minutiae and details about the episode, of which I could go into, from anybody else, but you cannot get my exact emotional journey from any other video, if that makes sense. Also, I'm a little bit tired of extremely long videos, because on YouTube you are competing for people's time. There's only 24 hours in a day, and there's billions of hours of shit uploaded to YouTube like every day, and you can no longer compete against other videos, but you can compete for people's time. So I made a very short video. So that's the story behind that. Let's check out some more comments. This is on Mark's Design Room number 2. Makes life worth living. I love doing those Blender videos, by the way, showing you what I'm working on. That's what's the most fun for me, because, like I said a million times, I love ships. And Power Cage is saying, "Wine 'em, dine 'em, 69 'em." That was a classic comment, and that was referring to the ballroom section on one of my ships. Watch the video to find out more. Ranking all the Star Treks tier list. This was a fun video to make. Ended up really long though. Matthew James is saying, "I would say this list is spot on." Good. Wilford Gray said, "The only bad thing about Enterprise was the ending. They blew it with the last episode. It almost made the entire series pointless." I know. I hate the last episode of Enterprise. It's awful. It's to spit in the face of anybody that was trying to pay attention to Enterprise. It took people who were willing to sit through Enterprise and give it a chance, and it just took them and it just slapped them right in the face, because it made the final episode of Enterprise a glorified TNG episode. It essentially, if spoilers, but the last episode of Enterprise takes place in the holodeck on one specific episode of TNG, and it's like Riker looking back at like an interactive museum, if you will, of Enterprise. It's so stupid, and they killed off Trip for like no reason. It was just so lazy. But to their credit, they were canceled, and they could have went on. So it's kind of like they didn't have the proper opportunity to end it on their own terms, like previous Star Trek shows had. So I give them a little bit of a leeway on that. Still a bad episode, though. Power Cage. I say you're right about Star Trek TOS episode 1. While TNG is great, the first episode is really slow and kind of awkward and boring in parts. I think instead of episode, maybe you mean season. Because if I say you're right about Star Trek TOS season 1, while TNG is great, the first season is really slow and kind of awkward and boring in parts. If season is what you meant instead of episode, then yeah, that makes perfect sense. Even though I like TNG early seasons because they're awkward and weird and boring and strange. That's why I like them. It's just kind of funny. I like the awkwardness, but I get what you mean. You're perfectly right. Like, I wouldn't recommend anybody try to watch season like 1 and 2 of TNG apart from a few good episodes, because they are strange. You kind of have to be in the right mindset to get into it. It's Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Episode 13 review, Screen Space Frequency. Wilfred Gray, please review TNG episodes. I did. Have you been watching the RLM videos where Rich and Mike talk about TNG? Yes, I did see that. And then Wilfred Gray talking about how the season finale of Enterprise was weird again. And then I said I liked Enterprise more than Voyager. Yeah. Series finale Enterprise was weird. Great. I understand. I already addressed that. I warmed up to Voyager eventually, but I have to agree. Yeah, I like Enterprise a little bit more than Voyager because it did what Voyager was trying to do and did it a little bit better with the Delphic Expanse. Season 3 of Enterprise was like Voyager done right, because in Voyager the problem was that they had sent this ship in the Voyager across the galaxy and said, okay, you're 70,000 some light years from home, what do you do? And every episode it just went back to the status quo. It felt like we were using unused TNG scripts instead of using scripts that had a serialized kind of nature to them and showed the progressive decay of the Voyager and the crew, right? That's what that show is supposed to be about. It was supposed to be roughing it, trying to get back home, and trying to rely on your technology to save you and trying to fix it along the way and making hard decisions. Instead, we went back to status quo style episodes where at the end of the day everything's fine and Voyager's fine next episode. Season 3 of Enterprise, you see the Enterprise get destroyed in that episode. You see characters not bothering to comb their hair anymore in Season 3 of Enterprise after they've been in the Delphic Expanse for a while. You've seen them look dirty. Like, the episode starts and the characters are dirty already because they didn't take the time to get cleaned. because they're in that much of a pickle in the Delphic Expanse. That's enough about that. Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Episode 12 review, The Outrageous Osira. Let's see here. Dana Pearson is saying, you gotta be one of the most idiotic of Trek people. No research. You're truly embarrassing yourself. Any sci-fi is full of fantasy. Every story is fantasy. Rather than enjoy, you bather negativity rather than enjoy the ride. Sad. And then I said, you got that right. One thing I learned about people who are detractors in videos, just don't give them what they want. Just say, yeah, okay, you're right. I mean, I've never gone on another reviewer's channel ever and said anything negative like that ever. I watch a lot of different people's reviews, and I never say anything like that, because you realize that, number one, saying that doesn't make me mad at all, and so there's no really point in saying it. And number two, you must realize that in order for me to go out of my way and review episodes of a TV show, you have to be at a certain base level of interest and honesty to do it. Like, these videos don't just get made, right? You have to actually just you have to do it. Like, it's a process. It's not like, I had people who review things, let's just say Star Trek, for example. People who review Star Trek, if you are bothering to do it at all, that means you are already above a certain level of savviness with the franchise. You just have to be. Like, no one is going to start reviewing something that they don't like. Think about it like that, and then it'll make more sense. And what's funny about this is that this reviewer was very upset about me not liking this particular episode. And there was other episodes that I did like from that season of Discovery that I thought were okay. So I'm not being totally negative on it, really. I'm sad that this person felt this way, but I've seen an episode of Discovery that I thought was pretty good, and then I went online on X Asterisk Scientia and seen Bern Schneider give it like a 1 out of 10, and I was just flabbergasted. Was I mad? No, not at all. I didn't care. I read his review, and why would I complain? It didn't change anything for me. And in fact, I found his review valid. It was the first of the two-parters in season 3 of Discovery, Terra Firma. I thought Terra Firma Part 1 was good, and then I seen reviews from people I trusted giving it like a 1. Big whoop. No need to lose your mind in the comments here. But addressing his specific points, no research, he's saying, number one, you shouldn't have to. If you think about it, if an episode is good, it's good. You don't have to have an unbelievable amount of research. And I do have an unbelievable amount of research. I have stacks and I have walls of Star Trek books here. I have a huge Star Trek banner. I'm looking at it right now. I have the art, the cross-sectional kind of art of a Galaxy class ship in front of me right here, that is bound onto a wooden block that is huge in front of me here. I've designed numerous starships that all fit in canon. I have an almost complete collection of unopened Star Trek Next Generation figurines. I've seen every episode except for short treks. If I watch an episode and I'm confused, it might not be my fault. It might be the writers. I don't know. I'm just saying. What's important is that you watch the episode and it works and it's interesting. Okay? The little minutiae and tiny details aren't really that important. So, do I need to be a researcher to enjoy it? Well, not really. And then he says, "You're truly embarrassing yourself." Maybe. I'll grant you that. Any sci-fi is full of fantasy. No, not every sci-fi is full of fantasy. I can disagree with that. There's science fiction, and then there's science fantasy. In science fiction, the art of writing it is a discipline. You need to lay out the rules, and you need to play within them. That's what makes it science fiction. Science fantasy is when you lay out the rules, and then break the rules intentionally for dramatic effect, like you do in, say, Star Wars. Right? Both completely valid, but both different. Okay, they're exclusive from one another. And when you try to mix the two, you start to have problems. There is a difference between designing something to get out of a plot contrivance or to get yourself out of a plot hole. There's a difference between that and a creative use of something that you already have for the characters to get themselves out of a jam, using nothing that the audience didn't know it couldn't already do. That's one of those things is bad Voyager technobabble, and the other one is the best episodes of TNG and TOS. A creative use of current technology that is understood by the crew and the audience, and technobabble that's made up in 1 second, which is in the worst cases. It happens in Voyager here and there. So this is not even specific to recent Trek. You need to understand that I'm not just dumping on recent Trek here, which I think this guy might be getting at. I don't know. Every story is fantasy. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, if you're any story that's made up is technically the fantasy of the writer, but that's a different story. Rather than enjoy, I don't know what the word bather is. You bather or blather, maybe is what he meant, negativity rather than enjoy the ride. This is probably one of the least negative Star Trek channels, to be honest. I try very hard to give everything a chance. Sad, he said. Okay, and I gave him a like and a heart, but hope to see him again. Hopefully he'll come back, and he'll see what I'm saying here. It's nothing personal. Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Episode 11 review, no comments. Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Episode 7. Wilfred Gray says, "Bro, I feel you on equating people messing around with TOS with messing around with your actual life. That's the problem with anything you like, going from fringe fan base to mainstream." Correct. It never ends well. Correct. What he doesn't realize, Wilfred Gray, what you do not realize, is that when they change things in TOS, it changes my actual life right here. Because as soon as Discovery started, I went to the library and on the Dingwall, the computer library, and I looked up who Michael Burnham was, and all of a sudden I saw the entry on her life show up where it wasn't before. I searched under M, and it was just there, and I'm like, when did this get here? And then when they classified it in Season 2, it disappeared again, and I'm like, where'd it go? So they're changing my life. I literally live here. Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Episode 6. Wilfred Gray says, "The meme is so supreme that he has to fight back a scream." That's something that's something that I said in that video, because at some point Admiral Vance in that episode says something like, for a hot minute there, or for a hot second there, or something like that. And I'm like, what? Whoa. That's just a figure of speech that I've been seeing in like the last year or two. For a hot minute there. Dude, like, think about what you're writing here when you're writing these episodes. Like, you're letting mainstream kind of current lingo to seep in. Like, and I know this has happened before, but something happening before does not an excuse make. Think about it like that, right? It doesn't make it, just because it happened before, it doesn't make it right or good. And that's just a particularly funny instance. And I like this Wilfred Gray guy. He's always hanging around here, reacting to something funny. And then Star Trek Discovery Season 3 Episode 5 review. Burnham, Power Cage is saying Kurtzman is terrible. Well, I don't know about Kurtzman as a person, but Spot has come here to visit me. And what do you think about Kurtzman? What do you think about Alex Kurtzman? What do you think about Alex Kirkland? Be honest. Tell the audience what you think. Nothing? You don't think anything about Alex Kirkland? Nothing? You don't think anything? What do you think about Star Trek Picard? You think it's good? What's your favorite starship? And don't say Sovereign class. No comment. Okay, she's scared. She's camera shy. Okay, get back down there. Well, I guess that's about it for looking at comments and checking out Star Trek Prodigy. When's Prodigy coming out? I have no idea. When's Section 31 coming out? According to TrekCore, they have it on good authority that Star Trek Section 31 won't be out before any of the current shows in development. What? Does that mean Section 31 won't be around for like another 5 years? Why did they announce it so soon? Bleh. So, that's been Lieutenant Mark, and this is a friggin' video. See you later.